Should we ban some of the most common disposable plastics? In order to have supply, we need to have a demand, and there is definitely demand for plastic. There is a market and there is a need for plastic, and that curve is going upwards. So it is somehow ironic, this constant decline of reputation of the plastic from 1955 until today, where plastic represents one of the greatest problems we are facing today. And though by this introduction you would probably suppose that I'm going to vote for the ban of plastic, I'm not. I'm going to swim against the current, and I'm going to propose a new name for my presentation. And it will be why we shouldn't ban food plastic wrap, plastic bottles, and plastic bags. From the survey that I have done, I have seen that almost 90% of the interviewees were environmentally sensitive. So in this atmosphere of people who are environmentally concerned, plastic somehow ended up being the villain. It is not just, and it is kind of one-sided. So with all the media and let's say the shops that you're going to, you have the impression that paper or cotton bags are better than plastic bags, but that is actually not the case. In order to produce a plastic bag, you need 4 times the energy that you will use to produce the plastic bag. Paper bag has a lot of chemicals added to it, and those are the worst chemicals than the one that we put in plastic. If it is not properly disposed of, if it then ends up on a landfill, paper will leak chemicals into the ground, and those chemicals will finish in our diets. Cotton uses, to be produced, cotton uses a lot of water. Actually, both cotton and paper bag have a double. Plastic has a half of the footprint of cotton and paper. If we had a truck full of plastic bags, we would need 7 trucks full of paper bags to have the same quantity, or we would need 80 trucks full of cotton bags. So there is a lot of misconception and misled information about plastic. The objective of my presentation, it will be that what we are proposing to replace plastic with is actually not better than the plastic that we are using right now. So for this, I'm going to present you a couple terms that you have all heard about: greenhouse gas emissions, carbon footprint, and climate change. I'm going to put all those 3 in the same basket because they're somehow related. The thing is that when we have plastic somewhere on a landfill, it is a very unpleasant sight. It is unsightly, so it's not pretty to see aesthetically, but it actually does not release almost anything into the ground, and it will stay there forever and it will not decompose. Where plastic has a big advantage over other products is actually in, though plastic still has a big carbon footprint, a lot of products has much bigger carbon footprint. And like I said, plastic in a landfill is not pretty, but a big carbon footprint actually provokes climate change, and climate change is what we see in wildfires, droughts, tropical storms. Plastic prevents foods from rotting. So those cucumbers that you see here, actually they will last 3 to 14 days longer because they're wrapped in plastic. And the UN Food and Agriculture department says that there is 30% of the food that's been wasted everywhere in the world. A food that rots produces methane, which is which is a gas that is only present 11% in greenhouse gas emissions, but it is a gas that is much more potent than CO2, so it's really bad for the environment. Another thing I wanted to talk about is pitfalls of this this prefix bio. We are taught to believe that as soon as there is bio in front of something, that is a better product, and we have a tendency to maybe buy something that is bio. So we can have all those, we can have compostable plastics, and they are compostable, but they're compostable only in like special furnaces that burn them at 170 degrees Celsius. Bioplastics are sometimes made of starch. Starch has a much greater greenhouse emissions than plastic from biofuels. So in conclusion, I want to say that plastic is critical to modern life. We can replace it, but we have to replace it with something that is actually better than what we have right now. And for that, we need to find new solutions. I recognize that we watch out for plastic overkill, using too much plastic when it's not necessary, that we are conscious of plastic overconsumption. We don't have to have everything. And I would want the government to impose recycling, but also to enforce recycling. I recycle at home, and I always have trouble knowing what goes in what kind of bag, what can I mix with what, should it be clean or half clean or things like that. I would want us to practice circular economy. Circular economy basically means we produce something, we sell it, we use it, then we either reuse it or we repair it, or we recycle it into something else, and then we use it again. I think that we need to innovate, and there is a lot of things that I have seen on the internet, from enzymes that eat plastic to film wraps that are made of natural algae. So those things need to be tested and tried, but I'm sure that there are some things that might work out. I firmly believe in education. We have parents who insist that their children say please and thank you when they're small, and they grow up to be adults that use please and thank you. If we teach them that about the environment, that becomes a way of life, and later on when they will be adults, it will be the way of life. And I do believe that we can achieve sustainable future. Thank you.